Tropical Storm Cristobal is strengthening and now moving northward towards the Gulf Coast of the United States. I'm Mike Naso with the latest on Cristobal. Here's the latest as of 4 p.m. Central, 5 p.m. Eastern, hot off the presses. Cristobal was at 21.4 north, 89.7 west. Winds are 40 miles an hour. It's moving now north at 13. That is a big difference from that stationary movement we saw over Mexico yesterday. The pressure 1,000 millibars and likely lower. The Air Force Recon's going to be flying into Cristobal tonight, and we will get more information. We have a storm surge warning in effect from the mouth of the Mississippi River to Ocean Springs, Mississippi, including Lake Bourne. And we have a storm surge watch from Indian Pass to Arpica, Florida, as well as east of Morgan City, Louisiana, to the mouth of the Mississippi River, because this system will bring high water rises. You can see the forecast track here through time brings Cristobal north by tomorrow. Sunday it'll be impinging on the coast, making landfall somewhere in the Louisiana region Sunday night, Monday morning as a moderate to strong tropical storm, although there is always the potential it could become a hurricane. We'll keep an eye out just in case, but right now, probably a tropical storm. You can see that track it took. It formed in the Bay of Campeche, got very close to the coast, made landfall, stalled for a day or so, and now it's clearly begun that northward turn we told you was going to happen as it feels the troughiness to the north eroding the ridging, and now it is taking aim at the Gulf Coast. We have a tropical storm warning in effect from Morgan City, Louisiana to the Okaloosa-Walton County line, including Lake Pontchartrain. And that's all with the expectation of tropical storm force winds as Cristobal moves to the north. We also have a tropical storm watch from Intercoastal City, Louisiana to Morgan City. It doesn't look too impressive on the infrared, but a lot of moisture. Look at from the eastern Pacific all the way across Mexico and Guatemala, all the way into Florida and off the east coast. This is a very large, spread out, elongated tropical storm, with, of course, the center of the storm being in the Gulf of Mexico. Now, all of this moisture is going to move up towards the Gulf Coast. Now, you can see that it's not a good environment. Remember, it's still early June. If this was August, we'd be dealing with a dangerous hurricane. But it is flattened here on the northwest side. There's a lot of dry air pumping into it. Nevertheless, look at all this moisture headed here towards western Florida. On the right side of the center of Cristobal is where a lot of those impacts will be. Impacts including storm surge. Remember, that area of the North Gulf Coast is very susceptible to high surges. So we could see storm surge 2 to 4 feet in areas around, say, the mouth of the Mississippi, Morgan City, Grand Isle. 3 to 5 feet, Ocean Springs, Waveland, the Mississippi coast. But look at over here. If you're on the west coast of Florida, Marco Island, all the way up to Indian Pass, you guys could see anywhere from 1 to 4 feet of storm surge. So stay away from the water, because remember, you could hide from strong winds, but you can't run from the water. And it's not just the threat of storm surge. We will all be likely to see flooding as well. Now, when we look at, what are we looking at now? The models. Here's the forecast path, and you can see we're starting to get into tighter agreement now with somewhere along the mid-Louisiana coastline for a landfall. But remember, this is not a tight eye wall of a Category 3 hurricane. This is a lopsided tropical storm. So the right side of the areas where the landfall takes place will get significant impacts from it. There's the visible satellite imagery, and again, you could clearly see that it's moved offshore as 500 and some miles south of Louisiana, and it is now north of the Yucatan Peninsula after causing widespread devastating flooding in Guatemala, El Salvador, Mexico. Finally, it's pulling away, and all of this energy is headed towards the North Gulf Coast. A much tighter tropical storm, to be honest, than I thought it would be. I guess I'm a little bit fooled because back in '02, Hurricane Isidore stalled over the Yucatan, and when it came back out, it was much more like an empty pinwheel. This does have some convection near the center, so we're going to wait and see what the Air Force finds, but no significant strengthening, but certainly gusty winds and rainy weather for sure. Again, that's really the main concern, the storm surge and the rain. Look at this, rainfall forecasts anywhere 6 to 10 inches on the right side of where the storm moves in. As it moves on up through the Midwest of the country, we'll see rainfall all the way up into Illinois and Wisconsin. However, Florida, you guys are going to get 2, 4, 6, 10 inches of rain in some areas, and that will cause possibly localized flooding where it rains too hard, and at some points in time it doesn't stop. Now, the radar out of Florida right now, very strong thunderstorms. This is all in the outer periphery of Cristobal, so very severe weather and strong thunderstorms right over the entire peninsula. You could drive from Venice all the way to West Palm Beach, and you'll never be in sunny skies. It's all thunderstorms. And this is going to just prolong the agony of any localized flooding that comes with heavier rain as the tropical storm moves to the north. You can see right now, you're seeing the outer fringes of the very large circulation impinging on the Gulf Coast. So there is wet weather headed their way. The key messages for Cristobal: number 1, damaging and deadly flooding was already occurring in Mexico and Central America, and more heavy rain is still expected as the system pulls away. Number 2, there is a danger of life-threatening storm surge outside of the hurricane and storm damage risk reduction system from the mouth of the Mississippi to Ocean Springs, Mississippi, and they did put a storm surge warning in those areas, and life-threatening surge in the Florida Big Bend as well as southeastern Louisiana, where that storm surge watch is in effect. Number 3, tropical storm force winds expected anytime late tomorrow, Saturday night, all the way into Sunday and Monday. And number 4, of course, heavy rainfall will spread into the Gulf Coast from East Texas to Florida. Significant flooding possible, especially with little tributaries where heavy rainfall occurs in Louisiana and Mississippi. The bottom line, Cristobal giving us something to track here in early June, and heavy weather for the Gulf Coast as it moves on up. Be on the alert, especially in Louisiana and to the east, from impacts from Cristobal. I'm Mike Nasel with the latest, and I will see you guys next time.